In today's episode, will you be able to buy a new car for a reasonable price in 2023? What is causing the different changes in the market right now? Is your new car about to plummet in value? All of those things considered, discussed and analysed. Stay with us. This then is a story of semiconductors, auctions, dealer bullshit, manufacturer supply, and on the demand side, interest rates and the economy. But first, let's recap and then look at what's happened over the past few months, and then we'll talk about what's driving the future. So then, as we all remember, car manufacturers have struggled to produce cars since the global supply chain adjusted as a result of the pandemic. We will get to the semiconductor story shortly, but in the absence of any new cars to sell, dealers entered the used car market like never before. In the Porsche world, that has meant soaring prices for anything air-cooled, and even us lowly water-cooled fans have had to pay considerably more. My last car value video detailed all that. Of course, dealers get a large percentage of their stock from auctions, and the competition for stock from 2020 up to some of 2022 was off the scale, often meaning that in order to sell stock of quality that would be expected of, say, an official Porsche centre, dealers had to spend quite some money to bring cars up to that standard before selling them, so compounding the issue and rising the price even more. So what has been going on in the auctions space, and how has the market reacted? And moreover, what does it mean for you? Well, the first thing to say is that we are not seeing a precipitous drop in prices. They are going down, yes, but not, yet anyway, by a dramatic amount. Here is a better look at pricing over the past couple of years. The market simply went berserk. We should also look at monthly payments. Before the pandemic, the average monthly payment was just under $420 per month, whereas towards the end of last year it sits just under $560 a month. The Federal Reserve is responsible for some of that as they moved away from their targeted range of 0 to 0.25 rate to 3.75 to 4% in just 6 months in their own efforts to keep inflation under control. The average rate for a car finance deal at a franchise dealer at the end of last year was 8.9%. The automotive sector is a large factor in current inflation, and the entire point of high interest rates imposed on us by central banks the world over is to quell demand and to slow the economy down. If the bank overdoes it, of course, then that will send us into recession, if we are not already there, and that itself will cause demand to go down much more dramatically. The demand side should not be ignored in this equation. Demand went up in 2020 and 2021 because there were people who had nowhere to go and nothing to spend their money on, and so they put it into cars. Those days are gone, even though confidence remains high, because largely unemployment has stayed low. If that changes, then all bets are off. So there's still some considerable distance to go. The market peaked over the summer and has dipped between 1 and 2% per month since, and we're still way over 60% from pre-pandemic levels across the whole market. Here's the thing though, dealers are buying cars at auction as market prices are reducing 1 to 2% per month. A lot of these cars are financed by the dealer's floor plan, and thus there is an imperative to sell those cars quickly. Turnover is really critical for a dealer in this kind of market, otherwise they are stuck with a depreciating asset, but still have monthly payments of their own to fund. Cars that remain on the lot past 45 days and up to 90 and even 100 days are costing them a lot of money, and there are plenty of auctions at the moment where cars are not meeting reserves as dealer pride kicks in and heads are buried in the sand whilst reality takes over. Look out for those cars. If they've been on the lot over 90 days, then maybe there's a deal to be had, but don't hold your breath. So what about new cars then? Are we back to pre-pandemic levels of production? What's happening with semiconductors? The thing about semiconductors was that the automotive market suddenly stopped ordering them in what is known as a just-in-time supply chain. Just in time means that chips are only made and supplied just when they are needed, and there's no large stock of them to draw from. Effectively then, for the automotive sector, the demand for chips dried up completely, and manufacturers switched to supplying chips for consumer electronics, where demand was way up. Actually, right now, there is in fact a glut of chips for consumer electronics. However, it takes time to get back to pre-pandemic levels of production and chips for cars, and this meant at times that cars couldn't be produced at all, or in the case of some other cars, they were made with some options or functions omitted. In 2021, there was a 10.5 million shortfall in vehicle production, 4.5 million units in 2022, and it is expected that there will be a 3 million car shortage in 2023. Governments are giving tax relief and grants to chip manufacturers, but that takes time before it becomes a reality. That said, the worst of the semiconductor shortage is over, and at the optimistic end of the spectrum, BMW, Mercedes and Volvo say they see no shortages of chips. Nissan sees a recovery in the next few months, and Hyundai and VW see an easing of chip shortages. Whereas Honda, Ford and GM say they expect to see shortages into 2023, with Toyota saying that it will continue until the third quarter at least. Automotive production then is likely to not recover completely until 2024, and as supply increases and demand reduces caused by macroeconomic factors, it may mean that used car prices will at least drop more precipitously. As far as us Porsche enthusiasts are concerned, we are still not seeing dealerships stocked with new sports cars. Macans and Cayennes seem to be pretty available though, if that's your cup of tea, and meanwhile we're seeing Porsche introduce such wonderful machinery as the new Dakar, the Sport Classic, the GT3 RS, and coming shortly the touring version of the GT3 RS, the ST. If I were you, I'd snap one of those up if you have the option. This era of Porsche manufacture will mean that 992.1s will be rare, and the special models within that range will be even more desirable. I'd take the Dakar if you can get your hands on one. This will be a truly rare and special car, and perfect for those of us that live in places of the world where we have dry summers but very cold and snowy winters. That's my current pick of the Porsche range. Well, that's my roundup of the car market as we sit here at the beginning of 2023. It'll be an interesting year. I hope that we do see some more supply of Porsche sports cars sitting on dealerships' lots. If you've enjoyed this, consider liking the video. That helps the channel go up in the rankings and get the videos out to more people. Consider subscribing as well to stay along for the ride. And thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.